We're going on to item number 4.
Mayor, excuse me, we did receive another online request.
Just now. Okay.
So this is from Avery Nabeda. It says, is the skate park open during this pandemic?
The answer is yes, the skate park is open as of right now, as long as they adhere to social distancing.
Thank you very much. All right, so we'll go on to, we have one, I don't know I believe her first name is Lynn, Lynne. It's just an email address. One of the challenges we have with public comment period, even when we have it in person, is it turns into a series of questions rather than comments. But I will read the email in its entirety. The proposed short-term emergency housing proposal requires further consideration and study by staff. The following needs to be considered. Please define safe parking and camping area for the homeless. Will vehicles, campers be parking in this area in addition to homeless tents? Number 2, most county services are located on the east side of town. For example, mental health and urgent care facilities. Will the homeless be crossing Highway 20 with their shopping carts holding up traffic? Their safety will be in jeopardy since this is an extremely busy state highway interchange. Number 3, the Armory building should be vacant for the short term. The U.S. Naval Sea Cadet Corps are most likely prohibited from gathering during this pandemic. The parcel is closer to most county social services and medical care. Number 4, what is the status of the property adjacent to the Sutter County mental health offices? Has this been abandoned or is it in addition to this site? Number 5, why doesn't Yuba and Sutter counties, in a joint effort, discuss purchasing the Fremont Hospital building to house homeless on an emergency basis? The building has a food preparation area, a triage area to treat patients, restroom facilities in each room, and is adjacent to the Salvation Army facility. Security could also be easily handled in a secure area. My hope is that once the council conducts its next open meeting, there will be public access to address this important issue. I'll give to homeless gurus an opportunity to respond should you desire to any of those.
Through the mayor. Okay, well, first of all, Lynn, the best part would be is to please contact your supervisor in your district. They're the best for the information on that since the county is taking the lead on this. Councilwoman Espindola and myself are on a ad hoc committee with Sutter County with Supervisors Solinger and Zigemeyer. Thank you. Anyway, this was done by the governor of California. This wasn't, the county did not make this up. The governor gave the county 3 locations to pick, and they thought that this would be the best location for them and also the community. On some of these, there's lots of these. When I got this about 10 minutes to 3. By the time it came to the office, got to me, the supervisors were in a meeting, and then their meeting finished and we started ours. So some of these I cannot answer. There'll be a couple maybe that I can, but first I'd like you to just make sure you contact your supervisor. That would be the one to get the answers for you. But the Armory, we had discussed this in a meeting earlier with the supervisors in our ad hoc committee, and the cadet program is a very important program for the youth in the community, and the short-term emergency housing for the homeless isn't really considered short-term. So that's why they did not use the Armory on for that location. The property for, there you were talking about why doesn't Yuba and Sutter County use Fremont Hospital? Adventist Health owns the property and they have plans in the future for it. So that's why that's a thought, but that's not being used at this time. For all the others, I'm not gonna be able to answer because I don't want to tell you stories or make anything up, but hopefully if you get hold of your supervisor, they will be able to answer these 5 questions much better than me. So Councilman Espindola, would you like to comment on anything?
Thank you, Councilman Cardoza. I think that the question is a good question, and Brad McIntyre is also our representative, as you heard him speak earlier about the shelter and care part of it. The adjacent property at the Sutter County Mental Health Offices, I'm not clear what that is, but if that is Better Way, that is behind Sutter County Mental Health, that's in it's being utilized as Brad McIntyre reported. These questions do relate closer to the Sutter County services, and we are in coordination and working with Sutter County supervisors to identify locations. The hope, I think the long-term solution possibly, and this is something that as a council we would all have to have a conversation because I would speak only from as a reference of information, that the long-term hope would be perhaps a regional service that both communities could utilize. But those recommendations are considered for long-term, and the property, and I don't know if our city manager would like to add anything to the conversation on the particular area that is being discussed, or did we answer all the questions? Diana?
So I would say we're in continuing conversations with the county in terms of just how the facility would be operated. Would security be provided? What is the expectation of the city's participation in this? So at this point in time, there's still a lot of questions that need to be worked through. My understanding of the item that was on the Board of Supervisors agenda tonight was authorization for them to develop a lease agreement with Caltrans. So that's kind of the very preliminary step. And there would still be a lot of other things to work out in terms of funding, operations, everything before this moved forward.
And I believe that there are also other potential sites that are also in conversation. This is not the only one, besides what the state is identified locally in our area.
I know that the county CAO has gone and looked at other sites as well. The question is, short-term versus long-term, and what's the site that could provide the most immediate relief for the needs out there?
Thank you.
All right, we have one more here. Email from Harold Kruger. I and a lot of other folks are wondering how many people in Yuba City, and again, I'm just reading verbatim what he wrote. I and a lot of other folks are wondering how many people in Yuba City have been tested for COVID-19. Other counties regularly provide that information. Is the bi-county health officer not collecting those numbers? If not, why not? If she is she reporting test numbers to the state? If the number is available, why is it not being released? Have any council members asked for that information? I asked the Board of Supervisors the same questions earlier today, and their initial lack of response was wholly unsatisfactory, bordering on laughable. Harold Kruger.
I believe, to the mayor, I believe that our fire chief answered that question earlier for you.
I believe he did as well. Okay, because we asked about that, which I appreciate the information. Ma'am, do we have any more? Two more. Go ahead.
The first one is from Angela Cable. It says, how will the larger home improvement stores handle the closure of certain portions of their business offering? In other words, will they be able to held to the same safety standards as other, and then she ran out of room.
You're going to have to forgive me. I didn't even hear the question.
How will the larger improvement stores handle the closure of certain portions of their business offering? In other words, will they be held to the same safety standards as others?
Does anybody, I'm not really even sure I even understand what she's trying to.
I'm not sure what the question was.
Yeah.
Say that if she's talking about a Home Depot, Lowe's. I'm not sure exactly what she's asking either. I'll try to answer what I think I'm anticipating. If she's asking about homes, Lowe's, or any of those other places, they are allowed to remain open, the whole store. So I think it would be hard for them to close certain sections as well.
I think that sounds, like they're open because they sell appliances, for example, but can people still buy flowers? Yes.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
I hope I answered her question.
All right.
Or there.
And we have one more?
Through the mayor?
Yes.
On that question, sir, also, I was in Lowe's and Home Depot the last 3 days. They have 6-foot markers in the store. They got taped down 6 feet of distance, and they're fulfilling the 6-foot distance in the store when they're doing stuff through the cashiering and stuff like that to let her know. Also, thank you.
Thank you.
She stated that's exactly what I was looking for. Thank you.
Great.
So the next one is from Avery, Nevada again, and it is, how is social distancing being implemented in the jail?
That would be a question for the sheriff, for sure.
Okay. that's
So,
all I
if
have.
that's all, does anybody have anything? We're going to go ahead and adjourn. Thank you to everybody here today. We're very informative, and we really appreciate it. Hopefully, the public will appreciate it as well. I'm sure they do. And more to follow, I'm sure, as we continue through this. As Mr. Shaw said, we're all in it together, and we will get through it. So thank you very much. Maintain social distancing, be safe, and we'll see you soon.